January 15th, almost a year now. And this year has been a little bit of a rest for HealthPath as we finished up a strategic plan early in 2016 and took a little bit of a break from most of our grant making to kind of ramp up for 2017 as we made a few changes in our grant making program. But the Community Connections program, which you're here to hear about, is of course one of our core pieces of grant investments. So I would like to introduce the staff that's here. Kara, who was outside in the blue sweater, is also new to HealthPath as of June or July, and she is our research coordinator. And we collaborate with the Women's Fund of Cincinnati to fund Kara's position. And another person who's not here, but that many of you have probably talked to, is Tara Behannon. So Tara Behannon, you've probably talked with on the phone. She's back in our office at the Greater Cincinnati Foundation. And of course, Christine Malvin, who most of you seem to know already. And Christine really runs the Community Connections program, and she's our program coordinator. I think you all probably know where the restrooms are, just down the hallway and to your right. And with that, I think I'm going to hand it over to Christine.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Christine Malvin. I am the program officer for the HealthPath Foundation of Ohio. As Eric mentioned, we have 4 staff. So I'm also the lead person for Community Connections. So any questions you have at any point in time, feel free to give me a call or an email. My card is in your packet. And those of you who are previous grantees know, I hope I'm pretty easy to work with. And I am available to answer all of your questions just about any time. So if you have a question, please don't hesitate to ask. So about a year ago, HealthPath began our strategic planning process to take us through our next 5 years. So between 2017 and 2021. We've made some changes to our focus areas and our funding opportunities. Those of you who are previous grantees, I'm going to walk you some of those through today so you know where we're headed over the next 5 years. Bear with me just 1 minute. There we go. Okay, so since 2000, when we started, HealthPath has invested in projects in preventive oral health care and prevention of family violence. We added Strengthening Ohio's Safety Net in 2010. We've had a lot of success in those areas, but those successes have been kind of diluted across a variety of subtopics within each of those areas. So we were a mile wide and an inch deep. Okay? We did a lot, but we couldn't really make a huge impact in any of those areas. So our board asked us to narrow it down and try to make a big impact in just one single area over the next 5 years to help move the needle for the health of Ohioans. We went through the results-based accountability process to pick what those new areas would be. We also convened community partners. A lot of them are in the room today, so thank you again for all of your input over the last year, and we asked them for a lot. We brought them back multiple times and had a lot of opportunity to interact with not only our grantees, but also other community partners. So we've narrowed down preventive oral health care to the result of cavity-free kids. We want Ohio's children ages 0 to 12 to have healthy mouths. Strengthening Ohio's Safety Net has become Healthy Ohioans. We want Ohioans to have access to the resources they need to be healthy, including access to health care and access to healthy food. Prevention of family violence will be working toward the result of safe elders, so that Ohio's older adults, ages 55 and older, who are living in the community, are supported and safe from abuse, neglect, and exploitation. There are summaries in your packet of each of these 3 areas, as well as our Community Connections program, so you can kind of read more about what directions we'll be taking. Our community partners also helped us pick some new strategies for these result areas. They're a little bit different from some of the work we've done in the past. although we are going to continue to fund workforce development. So in 2017, we'll be releasing an RFP for workforce development, which includes training existing staff, as well as building a pipeline of future staff. These will be open to all 3 result areas and will be open to grantees in all 36 of our counties. We'll also be funding some direct service projects, and those will start in 2018. Again, we'll be releasing an RFP for that. It'll be open to all 3 result areas in all 36 counties. And then our Community Connections program is also open to all 3 result areas. We also know that there are some strategies related to policy and advocacy work, which we have to do in order to advance the work that we're going to be embarking on. So we will continue to fund policy and advocacy grants. These are by invitation only. So if you have something you're working on in policy or advocacy, please feel free to give me a call and we can talk about your project. Our board also asked us to look at our Community Connections program and revise it a little bit. The program has been extremely successful and has met all of the goals that we set out for it to meet. However, it does take a lot of staff time to have 4 staff covering grants in 36 counties, doing workshops like this 3 or 4 times a year, takes up a lot of time and effort of our small staff. So we've made a couple changes. Besides doing community-driven projects, which is a theme we heard over and over within our listening sessions and our group work with our grantees and our partners, we'll also be splitting the service area into 2 regions. So in 2017, people in the purple counties, so Northwest Ohio and Southeast Ohio, will be eligible to apply. Next year in 2018, the blue regions will be able to apply. And I'll go over that in more detail a little bit later on. So what does this look like for you, the potential grantee? Okay? So think to yourself, how in your community can you achieve cavity-free kids? Oh, that's the wrong button. Maybe it's an educational program in your community that works with schools and preschools to teach oral health. Maybe it's a water bottle filling station campaign in the parks to try to get kids to turn to water first instead of sugary beverages. Right? In Healthy Ohioans, maybe it's a mobile farmers market that takes fresh, healthy foods to food deserts in your community. Maybe it's a program to help family members talk to each other about challenging health issues that are going on in your community. Maybe it's tapping into students to help solve health-related problems either in their school or in their community. And finally, with Safe Elders, maybe it's a program to connect older adults with teenagers. It might be through cooking. The teenagers could go shopping with the older adults, go back to their house, help them prepare a meal, and sit and eat with them, keeping the older adults connected to the community and reducing isolation. Maybe it's also a older adult playground, a community park or somewhere that's friendly to older adults and their challenges and helps them stay connected to the community and reduce isolation. Okay? Those are just some of the ideas. There are many, many more that you can come up with in your community. There are some strategies listed in the packet, both in the RFP and in the one-pager. If you have any questions about whether you think your idea will fit within what we're funding, please give me a call. I'd be happy to talk it through. The other thing that's new this year are finding community-driven, community-led projects. We're not looking for the kinds of things that organizations say, if we build it, they will come. Just because an organization gives a service doesn't mean the people in that community will use it. So we're looking for projects that engage the community residents to come up with solutions and ideas that will work for them and engages them as you're implementing the project. We want to build upon community strengths so that communities can make changes from within. Now we know that these will be smaller geographies than we've worked with in the past. And that's part of why we're limiting it to 18 counties. We probably will be giving out about 24 grants this year. We will not be doing one grant per county. Okay, so a single county might get 2 or 3 depending on the projects that come through. So we don't have any requirements on how many are given to a single county. What we're looking for are small local projects that will make changes and are driven by the community. We're also going to be funding these projects for 2 years. So you can apply for up to $7,500 over those 2 years. There'll be $4,500 in year 1, understanding that there are some startup costs and things that might happen in that first year to get you going, and then $3,000 in year 2. Also new this year is a required match, which I'll go through in a little bit, but you'll be required to match the total amount that you're asking for from us, and that can come through volunteer labor, in-kind donations, or cash. All right, any questions before I continue? Okay, so now what you've all been waiting for is how do you apply for funding? So I'm going to walk through the steps of the application process, the reporting requirements if you receive a grant, and then we'll have time for Q&A at the end. So first, how to apply. The very first thing you need to do if you want to apply for a Community Connections grant is save the date for our luncheon. Okay? This is a celebration and luncheon in Columbus that will include an orientation for grantees to the program, as well as a learning workshop. That will be held on April 28th, 2017. And one person from each funded project is required to attend this workshop. Okay, so put it on your calendar, hold a spot for it. The other thing we're doing this year is you can add your mileage to travel to this workshop to your grant proposal. So you can figure out how much it would take, how many miles it would take for one car to get from wherever you're located to Columbus, and add that into your proposal. Step 2, are you eligible? Do you have an idea to achieve cavity-free kids, healthy Ohioans, or safe elders? Is this project something that the community has asked for? Have you engaged residents to figure it out? Who have you asked and who haven't you asked? Did you go to sort of your usual suspects who tend to support everything you do? Or did you reach out into the community to find other people? And David and Kathleen will cover more of that a little bit later on how you can do that. Again, we're not looking to necessarily fund things your organization is already doing. We're encouraging you to engage the community and put residents in the driver's seat for their own health. All right. Also, eligibility. Is the community you're going to be working with located in one of these 18 counties? And the list is in your RFP and is also in the Community Connections handout. The ones shaded orange are eligible this year. The gray counties will be eligible in 2018. This group in 2017 will also be able to apply for funding in 2019. Okay, so 2 years from now. You might want to apply to continue the same project that you're applying for now, or you might have a new idea. Just understand that we don't automatically fund continuations of projects. You'll have to come in and compete with everybody else. But we don't automatically say no either. So it is an option for you. Now, if you're an organization that serves counties in both the orange and the gray zones, you will be eligible to apply this year and next year for projects that serve those counties. So if you're a Montgomery County organization and you serve Clark and Greene, you can apply this year for Montgomery County and next year for Clark County. Okay? If you're an organization that serves multiple counties in the orange zone, you may send in multiple proposals for multiple projects, but just know that HealthPath does not typically award more than one per year to a single organization. Now, if you have a really strong community-driven project, we would definitely take that into consideration. Okay? So make sure as you're looking across your projects, we want local, strong community-driven projects. If you have an idea for more than one, please give me a call and we can talk about it. Any questions about eligibility? No? Okay. The last thing that you need to be eligible is a fiscal sponsor that fits within the IRS guidelines of who we can grant money to. Okay? That can be a nonprofit organization, a 501c3, a church, a school, a governmental district or organization. If you're not sure if the organization that you're working with is eligible, we can tell you that. It's real easy. We can do a check to make sure that it fits within. If you have trouble finding a fiscal agent, let us know that too, and we can work with you to find someone in your community who might be the right fit. Please note that the fiscal sponsor must have a relationship with the community in order to apply. We'll ask on the question how that fiscal sponsor fits into that community, because we're looking for people, again, who have relationships at that local level. Step 3 is the application. We're using a new online application system this year. There are instructions in your packet for how to access it. You may have to set up a new account for your organization. If you're a 2015 Community Connections grantee, you already did that when you reapplied for your year 2 funding. So I know you guys are set. I think a couple other people in here might be okay too. If you have any questions about how to set that up, again, please let us know. We're happy to help. But there's instructions in your packet, and the online system is actually pretty easy to use. The deadline for applications is February 3rd, 2017 at 12 o'clock noon. The full list of the application questions are included in the RFP, just to kind of give you an idea of what we're going to be asking so you can start working on it. But basically, we want to know, what do you want to do? What community are you working in? Who's leading your project? How will you measure success? And how will you support the project? And that's where we get into the required match. Again, you have to match the total amount that you're asking from us through volunteer labor, in-kind contributions, or cash. What we want to see is community support for your project through time, talent, and treasure. Okay? Now, the proposal will ask you how you expect to meet the match, but we know that things change. What you write and submit to us on February 3rd is not going to be the reality in August or September, right? A volunteer might move. A cash donation you were expecting from a business might not come through because the business was having troubles of their own. Maybe an event got rained out. Maybe, there's many, many things that can happen that can affect your required match. So all we're asking for in the proposal is to give us a plan of how you expect to meet it. And when you report to us in year 1 and year 2, you can explain how you actually met it. Okay? So we're just looking that you have some ideas, that you're thinking about how you're going to do it. I'm sure, as most of you know, it's easier to sustain a program if you're thinking about it before you start than when you're already halfway through. Okay. We also don't have any minimums or maximums on what you can put in each of those 3 categories, but we will look for some balance across it. So if all of the match is coming from in-kind from the fiscal sponsor, the reviewers may look at that and go, well, that doesn't show a lot of community support because there's no volunteer labor. There's no local businesses kicking in. There's no community donations. Okay? So there's not a requirement, but we will look for balance. Volunteer labor can be valued at $23 an hour, which is the state average for an hour of value in volunteer labor in Ohio. Okay? It doesn't matter age. It doesn't matter anything. We're doing it all at a flat $23 an hour. This can be people who run the project. It can be people who help coordinate an event. It can be your envelope stuffers. It can be the people who help you make signs. Whatever volunteers work on this project, you can capture their hours at $23 an hour. You can also get in-kind donations. These are typically in-kind services from local businesses or organizations. Maybe it's free supplies from a store, bottled water at your event. The grocery store says, hey, we'll give you cases of bottled water for your event. Put the value of that into your proposal. Maybe it's free hours of graphic design time to help you do a poster. Maybe it's space to hold your meetings. All of those things can count towards your in-kind contributions for the match. And finally, the usual cash donations. Other grants that you get, fundraising event proceeds, group member donations, business donations, any of those things would count toward the cash match. All right, any questions on the match part? Yeah. Again, if anything comes up later on, ask. Okay, that's step 3.5. So as you're going through your proposal, if you have any questions, give me a call. I will review your proposal for you before you submit it and let you know if it's going to fit what we're looking for. I'll review sections, I'll review individual questions, I'll review the whole thing. Okay? So any questions you have, I'm here to help you write a successful proposal. Okay? Because actually it saves me time on the back end when I have to read them all. Okay? So any questions you have, don't hesitate to ask. The only thing I do request is that you pay attention to that February 3rd deadline, because if you ask me your question on February 2nd, that's not going to give me enough time to give you a good answer. So if you can have your questions to me by January 27th, that will give me enough time to give you an answer and enough time for you to respond to my answer and get your proposal in shape. Okay? We'll also, as general questions come in, we'll post them on our Community Connections page on our website so you can see what other people are asking. We'll post that Q&A, and maybe something someone else has asked you've thought of as well to kind of just help share information with everyone. Okay. So have you ever wondered what happens in the foundation when they receive all these proposals? Have you ever wanted to help us make decisions and see what's on the other side? This is your chance. We are looking for volunteers to help us review proposals. I know Brad's done it. Let's see, has anybody else? Yep, Vivian's done it. So we'll send you the proposals ahead of time. You can read them, score them, give us feedback, and help tell our board what will work in the communities that you're familiar with. You can review if you've submitted an application. You just won't be able to review your own proposal. So we'll not give you that one to read, and we'll ask you to step out of the room when we cover it. But we are looking for volunteer reviewers. So if you've ever wanted to be on the other side of that table and learn what goes on, let me know. We'd be happy to have you. Step 5. You've submitted your proposal. Now you wait by the phone. Okay? Proposals are due February 3rd. We will let you know who's been funded on March 31st. So what happens in between that 2-month time period? Well, our review panels get the proposals and have time to read them. We meet in person as small groups. And my promise to you is you will not have to drive further than an hour to get to the review meeting, and it'll probably actually be shorter than that. We'll talk about them as a group and then make recommendations to our board. And then the staff looks at all of the proposals across all of the review panels, puts together those recommendations, and then our board reviews that and approves them for funding. So that's what goes on. So we will email you, we won't call you, but no one waits by their computer, so we will, well actually, probably today they do. We'll tell you on March 31st whether or not your proposal was funded. Okay. If you were funded, there are some very specific reporting requirements that your fiscal agent will be responsible for. Now, the community members who are helping you with the project can write the report, but the fiscal agents are the one who are on the hook for turning these in on time. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is a 6-month check-in. This was an informal call that I think we did with our 2014 Community Connections grantees, and it was wonderful. I loved it. Anyway, I don't know if any of the grantees who were in the room liked it as much as I did, but it's just a way for us to talk by phone. There's no written report. There's no script. It's just talking. How did things start out? Are you having any early problems? Is there anything I can help you with? Any successes? And it's so much different to hear it than to read it in a boring report on paper. And it just gives us a chance to talk and solve problems or celebrate the good work going on. So we'll schedule those in August, and they'll happen in September. There will be a more formal year one report that goes into more detail about what happened during year one. How did you meet the match? Okay. How did you meet that $4,500? Were there any changes from your original plan? Anything that you thought, you know what, we started doing this, and our community said, we thought this was going to work, but let's go in this other direction. Okay. And then what's the plan for year two? Now, even though this is called a year one report, we're going to ask for it a little earlier than the end of year one, so you get the money right before year two starts to give you more seamless funding between the 2 years. So those will be due in February of 2018, and upon review and acceptance of those reports, we'll submit your year two checks in March of 2018. So that way, when that next grant period starts on April 1st, you've got the money in your account and you're ready to go. We'll also ask the grantees from this year to come back to the 2018 Community Connections Luncheon and do sort of a project fair. So we'll have a new group of grantees coming in. We want to give you a chance to share your successes with them. Okay? Talk about what's happened in your communities. Network with people. We'll also be doing another learning workshop so you can come and get more information. Okay? You can also, in your proposal, include mileage to attend this workshop. So you can put into your proposal mileage to attend the 2017 and the 2018 workshops. And then last but not least is your final report due in April of 2019 that just goes over everything that happened. Okay? How did year two end up? What were the overall results? What did you learn? How has your community's health improved? How did you spend the money? And how are you going to continue it in the future? Please keep in mind that this report does not take the place of a proposal for funding in the 2019 round. This will be completely separate from that. Okay? So kind of keep that in mind. Just turning in your final report doesn't count as a proposal for new funding. All right. And last but not least, what if something doesn't go according to plan? What if your project is going to be delayed or significantly off track because you don't have enough volunteers? Because someone crucial to the project moves, changes jobs, gets sick, has a baby, has no time to do it. We actually had, in one case, we had a project leader pass away. What happens? Give me a call. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. What if weather makes you reschedule your huge community event? You're not going to be able to get everything done in time. What if an important partner drops out? What if you can't get people to participate? Feel free to give me a call at any time during the project, and we can talk through it. And if necessary, we can adjust those reporting requirements and give you an extension to give you time to get back on track and make your project successful. So at any time during the application process, during the time when we're making decisions, while you have a grant, anything you want to know, anything you need, give me a call. All right. Any questions? I know that was a lot. So, yes, Donna.
So the Healthy Ohio.
Yes.
Is that behavioral health as well as physical health?
Healthy Ohio. Healthy Ohio is Ohioans have access to the resources they need to be healthy. So, behavioral health, mental health, physical health, wellness, healthy food, anything they need to be healthy. So yes, behavioral health projects are more than welcome to apply. Yeah.
With the matching funds, you're asking for 100% match? So,
Yes.
Okay, so like $7,500 worth of match over the 2 years.
Yes. So the match is $7,500 worth of match over the 2 years. You need to match $4,500 the first year and $3,000 the second year. Which, because we're including volunteer labor, chances are you won't have much of a problem meeting that, because volunteer labor quickly adds up in projects like this. So, yeah.
Okay, so for community-based projects,
Yes.
does evidence-based programs fit into community-based projects?
Do evidence-based programs fit into community-based projects? Yes, if you can show that the community is asking for them and then that it's not your organization offering them. So one of the questions in the proposal is, how is this a community-driven project? How did you get the idea? How did you engage them in doing it? Okay? So an evidence-based practice would be great as long as the community is the one asking you to provide it. Yeah.
We're talking about moving the needle on community-based wellness.
Mm-hmm.
That could be decades, sometimes generational.
Uh-huh.
Can you help us reframe our long-term outcomes into short-term measures of success?
Yes. So Brad's question was moving the needle on community-driven projects for health and wellness is not a 2-year project, right? We do not expect that your counties and your communities are all going to jump to the top of the health statistics in Ohio at the end of the 2 years. So we can definitely work with you to work out what are those short-term measures of success to know that your community is getting better and your community is getting healthier. So yeah, we understand that this is not, and especially because a lot like elder abuse prevention, how do you show that someone wasn't abused because of what you did? You know, you have to know ahead of time that they were going to be. And so how do you show with some of that prevention stuff? It's kind of hard to tell. So we're happy to work with you and figure those out. And I think that the questions in the proposal, we're asking you how you're going to measure success. What are the things that you're going to look for in your community that show you you're making a difference? So we're happy to help you on that to kind of get them into what's reasonable in 2 years. All right, anything else? All right, I'm going to turn it over to David Maywer and Kathleen Gemeiner from Universal Healthcare Access Now, Ohio. They're going to lead you through how to engage your community and how do you really make this a community-driven project. While we change microphones, we're going to take a quick break, so feel free to get water, coffee, well, maybe not coffee because it's like really hot in here. Water, take a walk. We'll meet back here in about 10 minutes.
Can you hear me?